Okay, welcome through a quick walkthrough of Page Optimizer Pro. My name is Kyle Roof. I'm one of the co-creators of this tool, and I'm happy to show you what you can do with this tool and what it looks like. When you first log in, there may be some announcements, and you see the announcements in this yellow box. New to the tool, there was a Webby that was done about a week ago. It's about an hour long, and it goes through a little bit more in-depth usage of the tool than this particular short Webby. Also, if there are any issues, we had a problem with the US server, but it's fixed. That announcement is here. You can also then hide those announcements, or you can delete them. When you first log in, you're going to have nothing here. As it's your first project, your projects as you create them are going to be listed on the left-hand side here for easy access. To start, you simply click Add a Site, and this is where you begin the project. The project name is just for your own records. It doesn't go on anything. It isn't seen anywhere other than in this left-hand sidebar. So you want to name it something descriptive that you will remember what it is. And for this particular one, I'm just going to call this Strollers. Here you want to put in the domain. This is the website, the domain of the website that you are going to optimize for. Not a particular target page, but the site itself. I've chosen an example at random. I don't know any of these sites. I don't know anything about them. If you decide that you hate me and hate the sound of my voice and want to get back at me, spamming these sites won't do anything. I don't know anything about these sites at all or who runs them. This was just a completely random example. The domain I'm going to use that I grabbed is the tot. And so here I'm going to just put in the domain. And I'm going to put in the preferred version of the domain, whether that's the www or non-www. And that's what you want to put there, and that's it. And then click Add Site. You can see there, that's where Strollers popped up on the left-hand side. Now I need to add a page. This is the page that you want to optimize. This is what you're going to use the tool on. You're going to create a roadmap for your own optimization. You simply click Add the Page. And now we're in the tool, and we're going to name this page. You can name it whatever you'd like. It could be home page, it could be a particular product page or a service page. You just want to name it what that page is. I'm going to call this the toddler strollers page. Now we're going to put in, this is where the target URL goes. This is the actual page that I want to optimize. You'll notice that I've put in the HTTPS and that I matched the domain exactly, the www.thetot.com. If you do not use HTTPS or HTTP, as the case may be, and you do not match the domain exactly, the tool will not run. So these things must be in here, that you've used the www or the non-www as you put in when you created the project, and you used HTTP or HTTPS. That's the target page that we're going after to optimize. Then I'm going to put in my keyword, and we're going with best strollers for toddlers. I have a toddler, and its travel is on the brain, looking for a new stroller, and that's the only reason that this variation or this keyword came up as an example. Now you want to choose your target area. Here you want to choose the area that's closest to you. In this situation, I'm targeting the US audience, and I'll put that in. If you're in a region and you don't see, or you're targeting a region that you don't see, you want to choose the region that will have the closest dialect to the language that you are trying to, that you will be optimizing in. So for example, right now we don't have a server in South Africa. For people in South Africa, I would probably go with the UK server, because that's probably going to give you the closer version of English than, say, US English or Australian English. Once you have that selected, then you want to click to fetch variations. You must click to fetch variations. If you do not fetch variations, the tool will not run. Variations are a specific ranking factor. They are not related searches. These are not necessarily other terms that you're going to win. These are terms that will help you win this target phrase. They are critical variations of the target phrase, and we pull them from the SERPs. Google actually provides them. So if you do have the option to delete them, every once in a while something like a symbol will show up, or perhaps in a non-English language, sometimes things like prepositions will show up on their own. You probably don't want to optimized towards for those types of terms. However, don't delete terms simply because you don't like them or you don't think that they're related to your search. These are given to us by Google. You probably want to keep them in. I'd say 99 times out of 100 you won't touch them. There is a rare situation where perhaps a variation doesn't show. An example would be, let's say you're in the law niche and you're doing lawyer terms and you know that attorney is a variation. That always comes up as a variation. And then for this one particular time, for some reason, it didn't. Then I would add that custom term, but I would make sure that I feel very comfortable that I know that this is a variation that I've seen before when I've run very similar terms or other pages in the niche. I know it should be there, and then I would add it. But otherwise, you're pretty much going to leave as is. Then you want to put in your competitors. This is the most critical part of the tool. What the tool is going to do is it's going to look and see what your competitors are doing. The concept here is that the secret to ranking is hiding in plain sight. Google is showing you what it wants your page to look like. And it's being shown to you by the sites that are currently winning your term. You must, however, pick competitors that are winning because of their on-page. Now, they could also have other strong aspects to their page, and that's fine. It's not just if a site has really good backlinks, for example, that you wouldn't put them in. But you want to put in sites that are winning because they are doing their on-page well. The way to pick these out is to, first of all, do an eyeball test. Look at the sites. Do they have a lot of content? Does it look like they're trying with their content? The next thing you want to look at is, are they there for reasons not because of on-page, but because of who they are? For example, is it a YouTube video? Is it Yelp? Those might not be good and probably are not good to include because Yelp is probably there for other reasons than its on-page. It's that Google is going to rank Yelp pages. Same with YouTube. YouTube is a Google property. It's going to rank for other reasons. So you probably don't want those in. The other thing you want to look for is a page that you can actually build. For example, you may see several directory sites ranking for your term, and then maybe other sites that look like yours. Perhaps in the law space, for example, you might see Avo or Fine Law and those types of directories, but then you also might see some law firms. You probably don't want to put in those directory pages because you can't build a directory page. You're a law firm, so you're going to have to build a law firm type page. It's probably advisable to just put in those pages that look like yours or what you can build. The last thing you can do is do the search, your target search in quotes. That's looking for the term exactly on the page is the concept there, and it will strip away a lot of other factors. Look to see who moves up and who moves down from the top 10. And if you're in the top 10 yourself, look to see where you are, where you shift, who shifts above you. There's a good chance that those sites are doing their on-page very, very well, and those are the ones to consider. For this example, I just grabbed a few of the best ranking sites. I didn't go into a lot of detail. I did a quick eyeball test and grabbed the ones just for this example, and you want to put them in. It is extremely important that you use HTTP or HTTPS with these URLs, or you're going to get an invalid URL response. So again, cannot stress enough, HTTP, HTTPS. Do not just grab the URL from the SERPs, go to the page and copy and paste that URL there. One other thing that is coming up, especially if you're running a lot of sites in the EU, if there's a pop-up that comes up, currently the tool can't click on a pop-up. So if they have a security warning or a cookie warning that pops up, that may cause the tool not to be able to run that particular page, where it's going to come back as an invalid URL. So we've got all this in place. We've got our page name, we've got our target URL, we've got our keyword, we've fetched our variations, we put in our competitors. If you wish to add a note, you can do that here. Perhaps you're running a different set of variations, perhaps you have changed something on the page. Just anything you want to make note of, you can put that there, and then it stays with the run. And then we want to click submit. And you're going to see that it's processing, and it will take usually about 1.5 minutes for the tool to process. You get the day that you ran it and a timestamp, and then there's also a section over here for more notes, and this is where your note would show that you put in. You can actually add more notes if you would like. Perhaps you tweak something on the page. You can put that in there. Okay, so the tool is run. This is the card that you see. We're just in our strollers campaign or project. We're on the stroller page, and this is our card for that particular page. You can also see if you were to click on strollers, there's our page, and this is kind of the outside the tool. This one particular run, we can click to view the page. If you've made a mistake or you want to get rid of it, you can delete it there. But you simply click to view page, and then you see the card. Now on this card, you're going to, again, there's the timestamp and the date, the term that was run, best strollers for toddlers, the page score. Now this score is relative to the competitors that you put in. Again, we're creating a roadmap. These are the sites that are doing their on-page well. This is what I want to do for my site. This is how my site then compares to that roadmap that comes from the competitors. A question that comes up quite often is, I'm ranking number 1 for this term, and I put my page in it, and it says that my on-page is an F. Well, if you're ranking number 1, you are probably doing it better than your competitors. So the roadmap that you put in is not going to lead you any higher than number 1. It's going to lead you perhaps down to where your competitors are. And your low score is simply because it's based on what you put in. It's based on the competitors that you put in, and it's that roadmap to them. That's exactly what this is. It's a roadmap to your competitors. And if your competitors are below you, there's a good chance that you're going to get a bad score, and you don't want to optimize to sites that are below you. On this card, you can see the exact match side and the variation side. So those variations the tool takes into consideration are put into here. And a very important point is this. Notice that we see some areas where the page is under optimized, but there's also a spot where the page is over optimized. This is a critical concept that the tool brings to light. Many SEOs say this page is under optimized or this page is over optimized, and they look at the page as a whole. What you'll find is it's very rare for a page to be all over optimized or all under optimized. The reason is that you need to look at signals individually. So we don't want to look at the page as a whole. We want to look at the different areas that Google is looking at for ranking factors, and we need to tune those areas on their own. If you were to simply say this is over or this is under, and then you would tweak the entire page, what's going to happen is that you are going to fix some problem areas for sure, but you're going to take some areas that were good and you're going to make them bad, and you're going to take some areas that were bad and you're going to make them worse. And that's what this tool is really great for showing you, is those specific areas where you need to increase usage and specific areas where you need to decrease usage. So let's click to view results. So here we are. We have our recommendations, we have our alternative recommendations, our site structure suggestions, and our summary. In the recommendations, and this is where you will probably live, we have our exact keyword usage, our variations usage, and our word count. What you can see here is for our exact keyword, which is this keyword as we put it in this particular case, the tool is saying we need to add it one time in our meta title, one time in our H1. Everything else is fine. Now you see this a lot for a long tail phrase, best strollers for toddlers. You don't need to jam it into your content. Oftentimes people will say, I've only got it in 3 times in my body, and I've got it one time in an H2 and one time in an H3, and I've got it one time bold and one time as anchor text. I don't really have it in that many times, and that's really not. I mean, that's probably, if you have a normal sized page, that's not that many times. But notice how many times you need to put it in. The answer is 0. So just randomly guessing and saying, oh, I need to put it in this many times, you're just guessing. Maybe that is too many times. And in this situation, it would be. So what all the tool is recommending in this situation is just in the meta title and the H1. When we look over at the variations, here's where we can see a lot of action. The variations are these terms up here, and you can see where this page is lacking. And this happens a lot as well. So in that same example where someone's like, I've only put in my exact keywords so many times, where we often see is that they probably then have over-optimized. And in this situation, if this page had done that, they would be over-optimized in that term-best strollers for toddlers. But for their variations, they would be under-optimized. It's the classic case of an over-under in that situation. So here we've got all these different areas where they need to increase, and then this one particular one where they need to decrease. And again, it's something that you would miss if you were simply looking at the page as a whole. So this page has a lot of work to do. On the exact match side, not very much at all. On the variation side, there's a lot of work. Two quick notes. Note number one, always start on the exact match side and then rerun the tool and then do your variations because it's possible that some variations will be picked up within your exact match. The other thing is the items in the tool are listed in a way that's a good way to go about it. Start with your meta title, then do your H tags, then do your paragraph text. These are the most important ones. They are weighted heavier in the tool and they make the most on-page impact for ranking. So start with the top and work your way down. One other thing on variations. Notice that toddler stroller is a two-word phrase, and then toddler and stroller are also on their own. If you add the term toddler stroller, this will count as 3. The reason is that toddler stroller together is one phrase is counted as 1, and then in the tool will count again toddler on its own and again stroller on its own. So if you're in a situation where you need to increase by a certain number, say for example here 1, and you were to write toddler stroller, you're going to go over because that will be counted as 3. However here, increase in H4s by 3, you could just add toddler stroller and then you'll be fine. One other note, this isn't looking at the total number of H tags on your page. This is looking at the words being used inside your H tags. So for example, where the tool says increase by 3, that doesn't mean you need 3 more H4 tags on your page. You could put all 3 in one H4, as we've described. You could just put toddler stroller in one existing H4, and then you would satisfy this requirement. So this isn't saying you need 4 more H tags. This is saying you need to put 3 of these into one H4. The next section is word count, and here this gives you your competitor average, and this gives you your current word count. The suggestion of the tool, especially to feel comfortable about using the recommendations tab, is to be within 10 to 20% of this amount. That's really what you want to shoot for. When you are stuck, you simply cannot get to this particular word count, and perhaps if you've tried, like, okay, so you've decided I'm 1,400 down here, I'm still just going to go with the regular recommendations. And you're not getting the movement that you're expecting, that's when you can go to the alternative recommendations. This tab is going to make recommendations based solely on your word count relative to the competitor average. So it's going to adjust your keyword usage. Now you can see for the exact match side there wasn't any change. Here the tool is still just saying use it one time and one time. On the variation side though, there's going to be some movement. If you remember, the H1s were needed to increase, and here we're fine. The numbers change slightly as to what is needed to go up or down, and that's simply based on your current word count. Site structure suggestions. This is what your page should look like. This is pulling out what your competitors are doing. How many H tags do they have on their pages? How many H2s, H3s, H4s? The tool is showing you that. The tool is going to give suggestions to the average. So you'll want to be mindful of perhaps there's an oddball page where they've got 37 H2s that might throw off the numbers a little bit. Use your best judgment. What we found though is that if you have way more H tags, in particular H1s, H2s, or H3s, than your competitors, you could be harming your page. So be mindful of that. If you're below, we found that's not really, it's not the same issue. But having way more tags than your competitors is a potential issue. So be mindful of that. But this is also what kind of page is Google expecting. This is going to are my competitors using images? Are they using image alt? Do they have videos? Are they using a lot of lists? What about tables or forms or frames? This is what this is going to show you. This is showing you what they are doing so that you can create a page that Google is expecting. The last tab here is the summary tab. Again, it gives you the page that you used, what the score was, your word count, the optimizations, your variations, and your competitors, so that you have access to that information. If you need to download an Excel version so you can share that with your team or keep a record of it for your files, you can download an Excel sheet right there. And then after you've made changes, that's the time to rerun the tool and see how your score is doing if you corrected those things. And you just simply want to click Rerun Analysis, and the tool pre-populates. You can change the variations, but you can't change a lot because we're trying to rerun what was there before. And there's the target page, the keyword, and the competitors that we use, and you'd simply hit Submit, and the tool will run again. That's a quick run through of the tool. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it helped clarify some things for you. If you have any problems, please hit Contact here and contact us. And I myself answer most of the support tickets. I'm happy to help answer any questions you have about using the tool, best practices. The goal here is to help you rank better. That is the bottom line. We want to have a tool that provides enterprise level analysis at a very affordable price, so that people who are just getting into the game, the guys and gals that are hustling in SEO, have an opportunity to compete with the big boys. We think that this tool gives you that opportunity, so we want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it as well. Please feel free to ping us at any time. To your SEO success. I will talk to you later. Bye.